we're living in a world right now where it is crazy. It's crazy. And we have to recognize that we are human beings. Yeah. And we're in 2024, and you walk outside your house and not one thing you look at isn't sexualized, you know? So I for a second actually was like, am I like a dork? Because I really have to not do certain things. Like, the way I've had to change my life is insane. It's not to say that I don't have self-control, because I really do, but you don't realize that when you start watching things on TV, or you start going out and you're around worldly things, you will start to get those thoughts. Yeah. It is an opening for the flesh to start opening itself up, and then you start drinking alcohol, and you start going down that path, like, no matter how much self-control you have. And so for me to fight temptation, it's not doing certain things that I used to do. Yeah. Not watching certain things, not listening to certain music anymore, not going to certain places, not hanging around certain people anymore. And that was really tough for me, because I'm someone who doesn't give up on people. Yeah. I'm someone who accepts people for who they are. I love people for who they are. And I still have all these people in my life, but I have come to this place in my life where I'm like, no, I have to have boundaries now because I'm called different, and I walk differently now. And I don't want to go back there. And I will go back there if I start doing the things that I used to be doing. Totally. And so, just really recognizing your walk with Jesus and walking in holiness. And that really does involve letting go of the things you used to do. Yeah. And I know that can feel a little scary. And I know that can be like, oh, no, I can't. I mean, we're living in the world. But you really do, because you were called different. Yeah. I'm not in a relationship right now, and I can only imagine how hard it is to be in a relationship when you are in this place of purity. Yeah, totally. But so glad you brought that up. Yeah. But doing things like not sleeping at each other's house, having those constant purity talks, not overstepping that boundary. What do you think? Totally. Beautiful answer, honestly. I love what you said about, like, it is easier to preach purity when you're not in a relationship, because it's as if, like, when you're not being tempted, when something's not in front of your face, it's like easy to forget about it. So I think it's really important that you brought that up, because you could be super strong when you're not in a relationship. And the second you get in a relationship, you become aware that, oh, I didn't even realize that this was still in me. And now I have to navigate something completely differently. I think being aware of your weaknesses is the number one thing. Being aware of what you're susceptible to fall into, what your vices are, what your flesh craves, what you naturally want to do, what you resort to. And then just like what you said, scripture says, don't even let the enemy get a foothold in don't even let him in the door whatsoever. So the music, the movies, everything, and asking God for it all starts in your relationship with Jesus. It all starts in your quiet time. Pray for discernment. Pray that you would see beyond the veil. Pray that you would see beneath whatever it is that's in front of you, because the enemy will come with the sneakiest, schemiest things that don't even look like a bad thing, but it's actually a trap to reel you in and get you in. And then all of a sudden you're like, how did I even get here? I thought this was innocent. So you pray for discernment, but that all comes from your quiet time with Jesus. It's all an overflow from that. Thank you for saying that, because I believe that when I laid everything down, he truly did take that lust out of my heart, and he did change the desires of my heart. But I that's because I was in such a close proximity to him, and I was always in the Word, and I spent a lot of time and I put the effort in, and that's why I was able to walk in holiness. Now, when I am away from my Bible and I'm not divulged in the Word, and that actually happened to me recently, where I had 2 or 3 days where I wasn't, and I did have
weird thoughts.
Yeah,
and I was kind of
totally.
going, you know what I mean? So I want you guys to understand that it's okay. Like,
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean?
normal.
Like, I just feel like everyone, when you're on this Christian walk, it's like, and I don't know if you've ever felt this way, Ange, but I know I have, where I'm like, I've like felt a little bit guilty at times. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going back here? I'm starting to think these thoughts, and I'm feeling, you know, especially when we're hormonal,
of course,
as women, you know,
totally.
and we go through our menstrual cycles, and it's we're women, and we have, same with men, I'm sure, with athletes and things like that. So it's not easy, and I don't want anyone to condemn themselves, because it's just not easy to live in this world and, you know, be perfect all the time.
So true.
So, but yeah, really spending that time every day praying, the quiet time. I love that you said that, because that's going to fight off the temptation.
Totally. You feed, Stephanie said it, you feed the spirit, not the flesh.
That's right.
And you crucify your flesh every single day of your life. That's what I do. You wake up and you say, I'm not going to feed this. I'm not going to give in to this.
Yeah.